welcome back to my channel. Today I'm testing out some recipes that I wanted to recreate on Christmas morning, so I thought I would whip out my camera and film a quick video. So I'm making some twisted bread filled with jam, it turned out super great, and then also gingerbread pancakes for Christmas morning. So I'm gonna go ahead and share with you and jump right in. Starting with dry active yeast and warm water. The water temperature is about 115, so not too hot, but not cold either. So we have our dry active yeast and then about a tablespoon of sugar as well, and gently stir. Set that aside until it starts to look sort of active. It sort of looks frothy, but yeah, you want to set that aside, cover and set that aside until it starts to look very active, frothy, bubbly. Then in the mixer, I'm gonna start adding my ingredients. I have milk that is 115 degrees as well, so warm but not too hot. I'm also going to add some room temperature butter, 1 egg, some sugar, a little bit of salt, and then also we're gonna add our yeast once that has had a chance to become active. And you'll see here, it's frothy on top, so that's perfect. That's gonna allow our dough to rise. Okay, so now we're going to mix that together until it's fully incorporated. Then I'm gonna change out the attachment to a hook. I've learned as I've made bread more consistently that it really comes down to understanding what the texture of the dough should look like. So rather than following a recipe exactly, depending on multiple different factors, including your location and humidity, you probably won't need to add all of the flour, so you really want to eyeball it. You're looking for a texture more than following a recipe to a T. So I slowly add flour until the dough has the consistency that I'm looking for. So it should be pulling away from the bowl, it should be climbing up the hook, but it should be slightly sticky still, like just enough that you could take it out of the bowl and start working with it, but you don't necessarily have to add all of the flour, otherwise you might end up with too dry of a dough. So it takes a little getting used to, and once you get used to it, once you get the hang, you know what to look for when it comes to your dough. But I think mine is looking just about right, so I'm gonna remove the attachment, and then I'm gonna just start sort of kneading the dough and working with the dough on a surface, a floured surface. And then I'm gonna set that aside so that it has a chance to rise. Put that back into an oiled bowl, cover it and let it rise for a bit. Once it's had a chance to rise, I'm going to quarter it and then begin rolling out each individual piece. I'm going for a Christmas tree, so I'm gonna do a triangle, but I've seen this done as a star, which is really pretty as well. And it doesn't have to be perfect because I'm gonna clean it up at the end. But yeah, just start by doing a basic triangle as best as I can. And then you have 4 different layers. In between each layer, we're gonna have some seedless jam. So yeah, I'm gonna start layering and then we'll see how this comes together. So once I spread the jam, I'm gonna put the next layer on top, add jam, another layer. So we're gonna continue to repeat that process. The top layer doesn't have any jam on it. And like I said, the dough isn't perfect, but I'm gonna just trim as I go and get it to looking as close to a Christmas tree as possible. Now I'm gonna trim and seal the dough so that the jam isn't spilling out, but this does get a little messy and that's okay. I'm starting to create little slits on either side here, and then that will make space for me to start twisting each of these little areas. And you'll see I'll begin to do that in a second here once I make the slits going all the way down. Okay, so the twist is pretty simple. It's 1, 2, and it's going away from you. So moving away, just twist it once, twist it twice. A little bit of the jam might sort of come out, but that's okay. Try to make it as even as possible, and that's it. My dough in one area was a little thin, so I had a little bit of cracking, as you can see, but I'm just gonna sort of put a little extra powdered sugar over that area, so no big deal. Just taking a little powdered sugar and putting that over the bread, and then it's pretty much ready to go. It turned out great, it was delicious, it was a hit, and so I'm definitely gonna make this again. And you could do it with chocolate if you'd prefer instead of jam, which would also taste amazing. Okay, so now let's move on to gingerbread pancakes. Super easy, very delicious. In a bowl, we're gonna add 2 cups of all-purpose flour, 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder, half teaspoon of baking soda, half teaspoon of salt. Now all the exact measurements will be in the description below, but we're also adding ginger, cinnamon, nutmeg, and cloves to taste. So if there's one particular that you don't like or don't prefer, you can always omit that. We're gonna add some room temperature water and then unsulphured molasses, 2 large eggs, and then 3 tablespoons of unsalted butter. We like to do melted butter, would be the preference for this. But yeah, then I'm just gonna go ahead and give that a nice mix with a whisk so that there are very little lumps. It's okay if there are some lumps, but just sort of get it as mixed as we can. And then basically we're gonna start making our pancakes on a hot griddle. So pretty easy, pretty much your basic pancakes here. So once you get this together, you can even make this the night before and keep it in the refrigerator and have it ready to go in the morning. All right, so before I start making these, I'm going to spray with some coconut oil spray. Get that at Trader Joe's. Definitely helps when you're making pancakes to spray the griddle first. I've definitely made that mistake before and they stick. So yeah, just one big scoop. They're gonna spread out. Once they start to bubble, that starts to let me know that I can flip them really soon. Mine never turn out absolutely perfect. I have a hard time getting them to be perfectly cooked on the inside without the tiniest bit of like burn on the outside, and I think it's just because one area of my griddle is really hot. But yeah, we got a pretty nice stack of pancakes here, and just adding some powdered sugar and some maple syrup. And these turned out great, so testing out the recipe, and I think we're gonna be good for Christmas morning. So wanted to share these with you. I hope you enjoyed these recipes, and if you try them, let me know what you think. And I'll see you very soon in the next video. Bye.